goalkeeper Adam Bartlett. Obviously you've been at York City now for a few weeks. How have you settled in?
Quite well, I think. I've enjoyed it up to now. It's a good squad, good group of lads. Things are hopefully going to start to come together over the next few weeks as well. We've got a heavy schedule over the Christmas period, so with the 3 home games and leading into the Darlington game as well, I think that we've got to look to pick up maximum points, starting with Blythe this weekend.
And how about your own form? How do you feel about that so far?
I've been okay. It's always difficult, I suppose, when you come into a new club, especially mid-season. Trying to get used to new players. We've had a few different lads across the back four as well in the 5 games that I've been there, but starting to get to grips with things a little bit better now, starting to build relationships again across the back, and yeah, it's only going to get better over the course of the season.
We've spoken to the manager Martin Gray, who says about just basically trying to get a more consistent performance from the team. As a player, you obviously at the back see everything in front of you. What do you feel needs to change to achieve that?
I just think that would be a little bit open at times. I think when in possession of the ball more than when teams are coming on to us, I think that we are at our weakest when we're attacking. A lot of teams try and counter-attack us. Being York City, going into games, we're expected to have the lion's share of possession, and we're going into these games, and quite often we're doing that. But we've just been caught out quite a few times over the course of the last few weeks, and that's something that we've been working on this week in particular over the training pitch. And like I say, I'm hoping that everything's going to start to come together on the pitch over this Christmas period. I think that you're going to see a different York City over the coming weeks.
You mentioned about the changes in the back four as well. As a keeper, do you prefer something settled in front of you to get that understanding with your defenders?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, of course you do. I mean, when you look at teams going up to higher levels, Premier League teams, for example, they all tend to have settled back fours. You look at Tottenham last season, best defensive record in the league, and from goalkeeper across the back 3, back 4, whatever formation they play, they tended to be the same week in, week out. They were lucky with injuries. We've had a few injuries over the past few weeks, a few illnesses as well, and it has been chopped and changed. But again, going forward, that's something that as a player you've got to be professional, you've got to try and deal with. And like I said, it's just trying to build relationships with these players. I've only been here kind of 4 to 5 weeks now, and they're learning about me as well. They're kind of figuring out what my game's all about as well. So like I said, I'm hopeful that everything will start to come together on the pitch over this Christmas period, and I'm really looking forward to getting out there again Saturday.
And on Saturday, Blythe, that's a real tough one for you, isn't it, to sort of kick off your festive fixtures?
It is, yeah. Flying at the moment. Scored a lot of goals, sat comfortably 3rd in the table, and they're kind of still riding the wave of the success of last season when they came up on the Evo stick. So they'll be chomping at the bit to come to York again. They'll probably take a few down as well, so it'll be a good atmosphere hopefully. Obviously a few days before Christmas as well, but we're hoping to kick off the festive period in the best possible way, and the only way to do that's with 3 points, so fingers crossed again everything comes together at the weekend.
Obviously fans are frustrated, disappointed, probably some disillusioned as well with recent results. So how much would it mean to get that win at Bootham Crescent in front of those fans that do turn up on Saturday?
It's massive, because as a player, you want to obviously impress the fans, you want to do that as a team, and we haven't done that. It's two successive defeats in a row, and the Boston game in particular is a game that we should have never lost. A lot of chances on the day, and then a few sloppy mistakes at the back, and all of a sudden you're 2-1 down. And like I said, in a game that we were very comfortable in, but obviously things haven't gone well at the club over the past 2 seasons, and everybody within the dressing room, we can completely understand why everybody's frustrated. And we're a full-time club, and we're not sat anywhere near at this moment in time where we should be in the league. It's as simple as that really, and it's only down to us as players and obviously a management staff as well, and kind of everybody coming together and trying to put a smile back on the fans' faces, trying to give them something to cheer about on a Saturday. And over the last few weeks that obviously hasn't been in place, and all we can do is do what we have been doing this week. Everybody's hurt by it, we're disappointed by it. It's not that we just go home and kind of it's a job, that's it. I think about everything pretty much every minute of every day. You can't get football out of your mind, and I know all the rest of the lads will probably be the same, but it's down to nobody else than us to get them back on side, and hopefully we can start with Sunday doing that.
And just looking ahead briefly, how much are you looking forward to the Darlington game?
It'll be a good atmosphere, yeah. Might need a tin helmet for that game, but no, that's what football's about, isn't it? That's something that we can hopefully go into on the back of 3 very positive results. The pressure's going to be on. You know, I know what it's like playing at Blackwell Meadows and that tin shed end at the top end of the stadium. You know, they really get behind the lads, and I think there's obviously going to be a little bit of animosity towards obviously myself and David Ferguson. There's a couple of Darlington based boys in the dressing room as well, and obviously the gaffer as well, and the management staff, because there's a few that have come in that were obviously previously at Darlington with the gaffer as well. So no, I'm looking forward to it. I think they'll be bang up for it, but hopefully that'll work in our favour as well.
And a quick turnaround between matches, Christmas in between, what do those few days hold for you?
It'll just be, again, probably tactical, getting on the training pitch and kind of figuring out plans, especially for the 2 North Ferriby games. The first one coming so soon after the Blythe game as well, with Christmas Day kind of sandwiched in there as well. So it'll just be rest, recovery, tactics. I think anything that we do on the training pitch will be relatively light, especially with the pitches at the moment being heavy as well. We've got to look after the lads. But yeah, it'll be something that we'll be working on and focusing on 100%, because you know you can't go into the North Ferry games in particular because they're sat at the bottom of the league thinking it's going to be a gimme. It's going to be far from it, completely far from it. So again, that's going to be a game where we're going to have to try and excite the fans as well, because there's just obviously the expectation of it's going to be a rollover, and they've got a new manager, they've had a few new players in the last week, and like I said, it's going to be a tough as game as any, and but at the same time it's one that we need to take and should be expected to take all 3 points from.
Brilliant, thank you very much.
No problem.
Yeah, just reading about your time at Blythe,
yeah.
Adam, so when you Hall of Fame, I mean, how does that feel to get that recognition?
It was brilliant. Yeah, I mean, I was at Blythe for 2 and a bit seasons. I was actually there with Harry Dunn, who's obviously doing the scouting now for the gaffer. And the first year I was there, I think I played 14 or 15 games. I was waiting to go out to America. I'd signed a contract to play in the US, but I was denied a work permit at the end. Yeah. But yeah, we won the Evo Stick that season. Like I said, I was only a bit part player, but then Harry signed us on when everything went pear-shaped with the US scenario, and played 2 seasons in the Conference North. And I think the reason I was put in the Hall of Fame was because I was the first player in 50 years for Blythe to be called up to the England C, right, yeah. Which at the time was a rarity because they tended to pick a lot of the conference players, but yeah. Now it's an under-23 competition, yeah. But back then it was open age. Yeah. So I think that was the reason behind getting that, because I got, I think, 6 caps in the end, but I think 4 of them I picked up when I was playing at Blythe. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Would it be nice to get that rapport with the York fans as well? Because as a keeper, you're the nearest to them the majority of the game, aren't you?
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, the thing is, if it's a confidence thing as well. If you can feel the supporters behind you, trust you, yeah. You know, it does make a massive difference, and that's something that's not going to come instantly. That's something I've got to perform on the pitch and hopefully build up over time. The quicker I can do that, the easier it'll make my job. But that's the plan, you know. Be the best player that I can be for York City, and you know, I'm thoroughly looking forward to kicking on the rest of the season, and hopefully, like we say, kick up that league and do a job. Yeah.
You played Blythe once this season with Darlington. What were your impressions of them that day?
Good going forward, good footballing team. We've got a lot of quick, young, energetic players, and then they've got Robbie Dale based out on the left as well, who is a 6'4" beanpole, and I've played with Robbie, haven't you, Robbie, for a long time, and you expect him to be a Peter Crouch type, good in the air, but he's the complete polar opposite. He's got great feet, both feet, he can shot both ways, so he'll be a handful if he's on his game on the day. They've obviously got Dale Hobson, Jarrett Rivers, Dan Maguire. They've got firepower in the team, but at the same time I've conceded goals as well. You know, looking back, I think they got beat a few weeks back at Kidderminster 5-4. So it shows again they can go away and score goals, but they can also concede them. The Darlington game, we were 1-0 up at half time. We were relatively comfortable, and then a few naive mistakes in the first 5 minutes of the second half cost when all of a sudden the tide turned. So with the experience we've got in the dressing room, and you know the players we've got going forward as well, I think it's going to be hopefully an exciting game, and we've won that again, we should come out on top.
Yeah, they've got this extraordinary record this season where they've won or lost every game, no draws. I mean, is the key in this division, do you think, your standard of defending as a team? Because so many seem just gung-ho, don't they? Is that the difference between the levels you play higher?
Yeah, I think it's got to be, and I think the one that you can look to for that is Salford. Salford conceded 14 goals this season. That's incredible. So I think they've scored 40 odd, conceded 40 and plus 30 odd goal difference, but they're going to the likes of Blythe a couple of weeks back in the grind now, 1-0 results, and they are sat very comfortably top of the league.
But nowhere near the top scorers, are they?
No. And that's it, they've grinded out that many 1-0 wins away from home at home, where it might not be the prettiest performance, but at the end of the day they've been putting 3 points on the board. And at this level again, some of the places that you go to, some of the atmospheres and some of the pitches at the same time as well, they're not excuses, but what they've done this year is they've gone there and they've ground out their results, and that's something that we're going to have to do better. Kind of going back to the Boston game a few weeks back, for example, that's a game that we should be winning 1-0 at a minimum when you go back to that day. So that's something that we're going to have to learn from, and something that we're going to have to strive to improve on over the coming months of the season, otherwise it won't end nicely for us.
Yeah, is your big target a clean sheet as well?
Yeah, I mean, there's I think there was quite a few games before I came in that there wasn't a clean sheet. Again, going back to it should have been ticked off at the Colville game, and 10 minutes ago we obviously conceded that stupid goal just after kick-off. But yeah, the sooner again it comes about, because obviously it's one of them things that already I've been in 5 games, and because I think there was 7 or 8, if not more, previous to that where there wasn't a clean sheet, it just adds on, and then all of a sudden it's gets on top of everybody, not just me. So as a collective, from me, the team, everybody, if it can come on Saturday, perfect, and then hopefully we can go on a little bit of a roll from there as well, and if we can keep 2 or 3 in a row, brilliant, and then obviously the monkey's off your back.